Howdy, folks. This is VileMike here, and with me is my exceptional progeny, Katty Knight.
What up, people? Dad, why are you texting?
I just got a bit of a southern drawl sometimes. This time we watched What Are Little Girls Made Of?
In my case, sugar, little extra spice, and everything nice. Add a sprinkle of sass on the top.
A sparkle of sass? More like a metric ton, with some attitude and extra sarcasm thrown in.
And I'm sure everyone watching knows where I got that from.
We open with the Enterprise arriving at the planet Exo III, another ice ball like Psi 2000. 7 episodes in, and 2 of the planets visited have been ice planets.
The captain starts talking with Nurse Chapel, the one who proclaimed her love for Spock the last time they went to an ice planet, and basically infected him with whatever turned him into emo Spock.
Apparently they received a signal from a Dr. Corby, a famous xenoarchaeologist who has been missing for 5 years, and who also happens to be Chapel's old beau.
McCoy's old flame in The Man Trap, and Chapel's old flame in this episode. I bet the crew runs into a lot of old lovers.
Throw in that, and the fact that this is the second ice planet, it already seems like they're running out of ideas. While Uhura's been trying to signal Dr. Corby, and after 2 whole attempts is about to give up, when suddenly she gets a signal, and they hear Dr. Corby's voice. Cue credits.
After the credits, Kirk talks to Corby. The Lost Doctor just wants Kirk to beam down, but when Kirk tells him that Chapel is aboard, he allows her to beam down as well.
So they beam down to insert ice planet joke that is not Hoth here. Seriously, when I wrote the script, I couldn't think of another ice planet in science fiction? There has to be another one. And Doria's already Trek related. Didn't Sam and O'Neill once land on an ice planet? No, that was just Antarctica. Doctor Who had one. What was it called? Damn it. They beamed down to, Lego Ice Planet? Sorry, best I could think of.
Lame. No one happens to be there to greet them, so Kirk has Spock beam down 2 security officers. Are they going to die?
Well, they are security, they're not familiar looking, and they're wearing red shirts. These might be our first official red shirt deaths in the series so far.
Oh my god!
Kirk orders one red shirt to guard the beam-in spot, while he, Chapel, and the other red shirt go off searching for Corby.
As they walk, Chapel nearly falls down a pole? Next they encounter a scary light! And a mysterious person is there, so Kirk pulls out his communicator? I mean, at least the red shirt pulls out an actual phaser.
That is what is later called a Type 1 phaser. It's like a small hand phaser.
Cool, I want one.
No.
Please?
Maybe for Hanukkah.
Yay!
The mystery person flips the switch and turns off the light. And it's Dr. Corby's assistant, Dr. Brown. No, not that Doc Brown. Those are baby bottles, not an actual doctor. Everwood, really? No one that watches my videos will get that reference. It's this guy.
Then suddenly we hear I would say a scream, but it more sounded like someone pretending to scream.
Yes, the red shirt is dead. Fell down into a hole.
Down the hole.
And we see, Lurch?
Voldemort?
Voldalurch?
That works.
Doc Brown is acting strangely about the death of the red shirt, and seems to take a bit of time to recognize Chapel.
Kirk calms the other red shirt to tell him that the other one bit the dust. Well, Voldemort creeps up on him and kills him. Not 1, but 2 red shirt deaths. Add him to the counter.
Kirk, Chapel, and Dr. Brown walk down the cave tunnel set, while Dr. Brown expositions about the planet's former inhabitants, and how they moved underground as the sun dimmed, starting to become a more mechanistic culture.
They get to a room, someone comes in, and my dad's jaw hit the floor. She introduces herself as Andrea, and I'm not sure how that top stays on her.
Double-sided tape and the rules of the 1960s standards and practices.
Anyways, why did you spell Corby with a C? Every other time you spelt it was with a K.
Happy?
Yes. Corby finally joins them and gives Chapel a big frickin' kiss.
A brig?
Yes. Big freaking kiss. After the smooch, Kirk tells Corby about the death of the red shirt. Corby fakes concern. When Kirk tries to contact the other red shirt, he gets no response, and Brown pulls a gun on Kirk.
Corby orders Andrea to subdue Kirk, but instead he takes the unarmed, scantily clad woman hostage. Our hero, everybody. He then tries some unorthodox tactics again, and blasts Dr. Brown, who falls down.
Water barges in and lifts Kirk into the air.
Before the commercial break, we see a hole in Dr. Brown. That sounds wrong. A hole blasted into Dr. Brown. He was a robot.
Oh my god!
This channel is sponsored by SD GameSwap. If you're into nerd stuff, you might find something you like there. They have books, movies, video games, toys and collectibles, and they even do consignment. They are also on Facebook, so go buy something. Links in the description.
After commercial break, we hear Kirk contacting Spock on the bridge, saying he will return the ship with Corby and his research, except that's not Kirk. It's Voldalurch mimicking his voice.
To show off the abilities of Voldalurch, Corby orders him to mimic Andrea, and then he mimics Corby and finally Chapel, which Corby orders him never to do again, and to obey all of Chapel's orders as well. You know, to prove to Kirk that he's still a good guy.
And I'm getting major Hunchback of Notre Dame feels from this.
Why? How?
Semi-deformed person being bossed around with someone who has a quote-unquote good reputation, who is really actually evil.
But Voldalurch is not in love with anyone. Also, he's a robot. An alien robot. A giant alien robot that can mimic people's voices and kills people. Really? He has nothing to do with Quasimodo.
Shush you, I love the Quasimodo robot.
Kirby is still trying to defend himself.
Kirby? Kirby!
Shut up.
No, Kirby!
Shut up.
That's staying in the video.
Corby is still trying to defend himself and Voldalurch, even after Corby admits that Voldalurch killed both of the red shirts. Kirk tries to escape, but once again, Voldalurch just picks him up like a rag doll and throws him across the room.
See? He even walks like Quasimodo!
I still don't see how you're equating a short hunchback to a giant alien robot.
Shut up!
We move to Andrea visiting Chapel, where she asks Chapel why she is sad if she has Kirby back. Chapel just asks where Kirk is. Andrea just keeps asking other questions. When Corby enters with Voldalurch holding Kirk.
Sound like you were hurting.
I don't know what I was saying.
Since Chapel's a little jealous of Andrea, Corby has her reveal that she's an android, like Brown. Andrea the android. Oh, so that's what the title means.
Yep, except for the proper term for a female robot is a gynoid. Android means a male robot. Corby tries to show off the features of Andrea. Warm skin, pulse, etc. Chapel doesn't go out and actually say it, but she basically accuses Corby of using Andrea as a sex bot.
Wouldn't surprise me. Anyways, to prove she means nothing to him, he orders Andrea to kiss Kirk, then slap him, to show she has no real emotions.
Kirk still wants answers, and Corby says he will give them. Cue Voldalurch putting a foam mannequin into a machine. This is supposedly how you make an android. And shoot, hold on a sec. Naked Shatner alert! Naked Shatner alert! This is not the drill! Naked Shatner alert! You have been warned! Okay, now that you've been sufficiently warned, we see a naked Kirk strapped down to the other side of a round table with the foam mannequin on the other.
Ew!
Andrea turns the machine on, and the table starts to spin.
I'm half surprised he's not making a robot Chapel.
He still might. After a commercial break, the table spins faster and faster.
How is Kirk not barfing?
Probably because Shatner wouldn't allow something like that to be filmed.
Anyway, the table keeps spinning, and suddenly the mannequin's no longer green foam. It looks like Kirk.
We have Robo-Kirk. And they look so identical that Chapel can't even tell the difference. When they basically try to download Kirk's memories into Robo-Kirk, The original Kirk focuses on a kind of mantra. Mind your own business, Spock. I'm sick of your half-breed interference. That's a good mantra.
No, it's not. Spock is... No, shut up. Spock is the best. Spock is amazing, and I love him, and you are wrong, and Kirk is wrong, and Spock is amazing and should be captain.
He's only doing it to trick.
Shut up!
We move to a dining room where Andrea is feeding Chapel dog food. Kirk enters and joins her. They talk a little bit about Corby and how he's changed. Kirk asks if she would follow a direct order to betray Corby. She simply asks him not to.
Chapel says she is too upset to eat, but urges Kirk to do so. When he says androids do not eat, it's Robo-Kirk!
Corby, Voldalurch, and the real Kirk enter. Kirk tries to play some mental games with Robo-Kirk, asking him questions about his family and testing its answers.
Corby tells them his plan. He wants to turn people into androids because it could make people better. There's no more starvation, virtual immortality. He could even remove negative traits because it would just be computer code. And all he needs is Kirk's help to set up shop on a colony world.
While Corby's trying to convince him, Kirk unwinds a bit of decorative rope on the chair and uses it to hold Corby hostage in a chokehold. Then Kirk flees into the caves with Voldalurch in pursuit, while Chapel yells at the robot not to harm Kirk.
Kirk grabs a stalactite, breaking it off to use as a weapon. Dad, should you put like a black bar over it? Or, blur it out?
Why? Because it looks like a giant foam dill?
Stop!
Voldalurch mimics Chapel, and Kirk asks if it's her, luring the robot into the perfect position to strike it with his totally not a foam dill.
Stop!
Except before it hits, Voldalurch grabs the foam dill.
Stop! Rule of 3.
Before a commercial break, Kirk falls into a pit with Voldalurch looking down on him. After the commercial break, Voldalurch lifts him up from the pit.
So anticlimactic. Back on the Enterprise, Spock is shocked to see the captain, and follows him to Kirk's quarters, where Robo-Kirk is going through the Enterprise's flight plan.
When Spock asks too many questions, Robo-Kirk says the mind your own business, Spock, I'm sick of your half-breed interference, that mantra that the real Kirk was focusing on before the mind transfer.
And because Spock is so awesome, he knows that means something is wrong, and orders security to join him in the transporter room after the captain beams down. For once, someone noticed a crew member acting strange! It's a miracle!
Back on the planet, Robo-Kirk and Corby try to figure out what colony to set up shop on, while the real Kirk does his thing to Andrea, ordering her to kiss him. She moves to strike him like before, but instead he kisses her again with more Shatnery tongue.
Ew! Gross! She leaves and Voldalurch enters. Kirk now tries to get more information about Voldalurch's creators. And so the story goes. The old ones started making Voldalurch type of robots, but they made them too well and tried to turn the robots off. So the robots disobeyed their programming and killed the old ones. This reminds me of another story. Never mind.
When Kirk reminds Voldalurch of how he was able to rebel before, that means he could rebel against Corby. Then the robot goes nuts and tries to kill Corby, but Corby kills the giant alien.
Kirk then attacks Corby to get the phaser from him, and manages to wound his hand. Under the skin is robotic circuitry.
Apparently he was on the verge of death after the crash, and transferred his mind into the robot body, but he insists that he is still the real Corby.
Andrea detects someone entering. Kirk says it must be Spock, so Corby sends Andrea to grab a weapon to go kill Spock. It turns out to be Robo-Kirk, and Andrea kills him thinking it's the real Kirk.
Kirk is trying to show Corby how his plan with the robots is ultimately flawed. Corby wants to prove him wrong, but every example he tries to think of just shows how much of a machine he is. But he still insists that he is himself.
I am Roger Corby!
In a confused state, Corby gives Kirk the phaser. At this time, for some reason, Andrea says she's in love with Robo-Corby and tries to kiss him. But Robo-Corby chooses to reach for her phaser and vaporizes them both.
And phaser saves the day. Anyway, Kirk comes to the rescue.
That's Spock comes to the rescue, your favorite character, and you said the exact wrong word. Congratulations.
You did it before. Spock comes to the rescue. Granted, he is a little late to the party, but he asks where Dr. Corby is.
Kirk says to him that Corby was never really there to begin with. Back on the bridge, Kirk talks with Chapel briefly, and when she leaves, Spock complains about the word half-breed. Kirk makes a dumb joke about not doing that the next time he has a duplicate made. Guess that means it's going to happen again.
At least they're self-aware.
End of episode. So, Katty, what did you think of this episode?
It was good. Much better than the last episode. But I now can't disassociate androids with Vulcans because of their emotional problems.
I'm sure Star Trek will reuse that idea later on. I think the plot twist that Corby was a robot was pretty well done, actually. Volta Lurch has some interesting makeup, just enough to make sure you know that he's an alien robot. It kind of sucks, though, that he was killed so easily by the phaser, considering, there was really no effect when he was hit by the giant foam
Stop! Call back. What?
I think that was perfect.
And that's all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And next week we watch Miri. What's this one about?
You'll just have to wait and find out. Later, all.
Bye-bye!
I am Roger Corby! I'm Joseph